How would you like to be the oldest child of a king, descended from a blended lineage of elves and humans? Well, if you were Princess Kirara of Maíga, that's exactly the kind of origin story you'd get. Hi, I'm indie author and vlogger Garrett K. and for the last forming fantasy segment of Season 2, I'm exploring Princess Kirara from my continuing series, The Archives of Icínq-Régn. Hey, happy Saturday. I've got a few big announcements to share with you. First up, the third episode of Season 3 Storytellers launched Monday morning, featuring an intense piece of flash fiction by British author Luke Partridge. Here's the promo. If you'd like to get caught up on this season of the podcast, or if you'd like to submit your short story or poetry for an episode, the links are down in the description box. Second big announcement, we are 1 week away from Author Awareness August. 5 Saturdays, 5 author interviews. We're going to kick things off with contemporary romance author Amy C. Beckinsale. Third major announcement, I will be unveiling the new cover art for Book 1, The Heirs of Menenias, during that same vlog next week. And if you'd like to get a sneak peek a little early, I'll tell you more about how to do that at the end of this video. Kirara, or Kiera as she is known by those closest to her, is the oldest daughter of King Kaldizer of Maíga. Her younger sisters are Celine and Amara. Of course, Amara was one of the chosen heroes from Book 1. Kirara is actually introduced early on in Book 1 when she summons Amara for an annual heritage festival that is being held in La Sigre d'Antananti, and she does this to avoid any incidents from occurring. Now, because she's the oldest, she's taken on a maternal role over her sisters since their mother's passing while giving birth to Amara. Kirara is described as being the closest in appearance to her mother, which causes some emotional confusion. She feels very protective of her siblings, especially Amara. Early on in Book 1, Kirara is introduced to Asher, the connoisseur, and they quickly become friends. At first, Kirara isn't as formidable in her use of magic or combat skills, spending more of her time focused on the day-to-day functions of her father's house, as well as keeping a keen ear for the whisperings of members of the royal court. She feels more comfortable with the social propriety of being royalty rather than being an actual leader. She remains in her father's house until after Amara goes missing, choosing to pursue her sister's whereabouts. When she can't find Amara, she feels embarrassed and refuses to return to her father empty-handed. Instead, she pursues adventure on the high seas, a decision that brings her back in contact with Gavin the Dragon Mist, and eventually back home to her father, where she is reunited with Asher. From that moment on, she and Asher begin a new romance, and eventually she initiates an ancient elf marriage tradition with him. Having been raised among practitioners of the Promisust, Asher creates rings of solid light with his powers, which Kirara and he exchange. However, shortly after, the Battle of Chisen commences, pitting Shadowkin and humans against Drak Asar and his dark breed, vampires. Towards the end of the battle, Kirara is supposedly mortally wounded and then just vanishes. She wakes up months later in her father's house and learns that she is pregnant with Asher's child, even if her father has banished the connoisseur from Maíga. Kirara, like many characters in my first book, was initially based on someone that I knew personally, but the character went through several redrafts before becoming the halfling woman that she turned out to be. While she starts off as a bit complacent and at times superficial, there's something deeper about her character that comes in as she is explored. Her decision to seek adventure on the high seas pushes her well outside of her comfort zone, where she hides her identity and forces herself to improve the skills that she ignored while she was still in Maíga. Throughout books 1 through 3, she displays strong relationships with Amara, Gavin, and Asher, and she is very much a daddy's girl, having a strong relationship with her father. So with Kirara, I wanted to develop a character who goes through a unique evolution. She voluntarily leaves her title behind, taking an inspirational cue from Amara, and chooses a life outside of royalty for several months. Even when she returns to Maíga, she chooses adventure, trying to help Asher establish the new population of Shadowkin, or Blood Elves, in Terrancolto, and single-handedly convinces her father to provide aid to this novel group of elves. She essentially transforms from courtesan to adventurer to diplomat. Hey, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, make sure to like and share this video because that's how this channel is going to grow its viewership. If you find yourself in a position to do so, please consider becoming a channel supporter by clicking on the link in the description box and going to patreon.com/GKJpublishing. On that site, you'll find support tiers of $1, $3, and $5. Each tier comes with its own sweet perks, plus you get recognition on the final video of the month. One very special perk that all tiers share right now is that you'll have early access to the new cover art for Book 1, The Heirs of Menonias, before I broadcast it next week at the start of Author Awareness August. Don't forget to register your short story or poetry for Season 3 Storytellers, and make sure to connect with me on Instagram and Twitter at GKJ_publishing. And I will see you guys next week for the first interview of Author Awareness August, featuring UK romance novelist Amy C. Beckinsale. The vlog of the Five Kingdoms is filmed without the use of a live audience at Skyrocket Studios in Hanford, California. We can't do what we do without your help, so please make sure to subscribe by clicking the button that's above my head, and make sure to watch and share the videos over here to my left. Have a great week.